This is Put It Into Practice, truth from the Word of God for living life. Today on Put It Into Practice, we are considering truth from Matthew 26, verses 36 through 46. In this text, Jesus is praying to fulfill the will of God. From Jesus' prayer, we can identify 10 parts to prevailing in prayer. Consider these 10 parts so you can prevail in prayer and fulfill God's will. Number 1, find a place to pray. Verse 36 tells us that Jesus found a place to pray where he could communicate with God. 2, ask others to pray. Verse 37a says Jesus invited those closest to him to pray with him. 3, embrace the pain of prayer. Verse 37b through 38 tell us that Jesus was overwhelmed with sorrow. 4, observe your position in prayer. Verse 39a tells us that Jesus prayed face down, indicating the seriousness of his burden. 5, plead with God in prayer. Verse 39b tells us that Jesus was not demanding or manipulating, but communicating and listening. 6, surrender your will in prayer. Verse 39c tells us that Jesus desired to fulfill the will of God. 7, anticipate disappointment in prayer. Verse 40 tells us that Jesus' friends let him down spiritually. 8, avoid temptation through prayer. Verse 41, Jesus said to pray so the disciples, would not fall into temptation. 9, keep on praying. Verse 42 through 44 tells us that Jesus continued praying even though his disciples were sleeping. 10, engage through prayer. Verse 45 through 46 help us understand that Jesus took action to obey when he said, "Rise, let us go." So today, practice these 10 parts to prevailing in prayer so you can go forward in fulfilling God's will. Now, this is how to get alone with God and prevail in prayer.